So we got about 3 videos to get to. Lizzo finally breaks her silence and talks about the allegations against her. Then you have two of the dancers who sat down with TMZ and went into detail about some of the situations that allegedly happened. Then you have an interview that Lizzo did that makes the whole banana episode seem less outrageous because she did an interview talking about this exact place that she was looking forward to going. But so first things first, here's I'm Stacey reading Lizzo's response to the allegations.
So Lizzo saying this, all right? So these last few days have been gut-wrenching, difficult, and overwhelmingly disappointing. My work ethic and morals and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. Usually I choose not to respond to false allegations, but these are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous to not be addressed. The sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. As an artist, I have always been very passionate about what I do. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. With passion comes hard work and high standards. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions, but it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of my team. I am not here to be looked at as a victim, but I also know that I'm not the villain that people in the media have portrayed me to be these last few days. I am very open with my sexuality and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something I am not. There's nothing I take more seriously than the respect we deserve as women in the world. I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis, and will absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. I'm hurt, but I will not let the good work I've done in the world be overshadowed by this. I want to thank everyone who has reached out in support to lift me up during this difficult time.
And so it was lengthy, but as I suspected, it's the typical words that someone would say to give a defense to themselves in the early stages of this back and forth. But let's hear from the dancers and what they had to say on TMZ.
Were these demands or suggestions made by Lizzo, as you say, were they direct, where they said, I really want you to do it? Or was it more, I'm afraid if I don't, I might get fired?
Yeah, I think for both of us, there was like this always looming feeling of thinking that if you didn't do something or you didn't adhere to certain suggestions or demands that your job could be in jeopardy. I mean, there have been specific instances, for example, whenever we were in contact with our agents and we were trying to negotiate receiving a retainer while we were working with the team, things kind of started being more tense in the work environment, more hostile. So right off the bat, we kind of already felt like the energy was shifting. And after negotiations for retainers began, we got an email before one of the shows, basically from her, somebody from her management team, saying that the way that we had been acting was unprofessional and the attitudes that we were exhibiting on the job was unacceptable, and that it could be grounds for termination. And that's just one specific instance that we went through in regards to working with the team.
So watching this makes me assume that they're trying to get a settlement, right? Because they're talking. When usually lawyers would step in, the lawyers sitting in the middle not saying nothing, but and they doing all the talking. Usually when lawyers get involved, lawyers do the talking, but it seems like they're trying to win public opinion. Whether the story is truthful or not, they want to make sure they get public opinion on their side so that they can get the bag in the form of a settlement. Right? This is the way it seems to me, but I'm gonna let them keep talking and keep going because they're going on a media run with this.
There is so many instances where dancers who did, have fun with her and, go along with like what she was doing and, be down for anything that they were favored. They were hired for more shows. They were invited on, like private jets and to do cool things and, could hang out with her in like tropical settings like Hawaii and stuff like that. Some of our coworkers, it's just like there was no line between professionalism and personal. And so we had in our minds that if we weren't, down for anything, that we would then be ostracized later. It was this unspoken thing in the camp that if you weren't super fun, like if you like skipped out on all of the like outings and all that stuff, that you wouldn't be seen in good favor from Lizzo, and that you would then not be considered like one of the people that is like cool and down for anything, and then therefore not be booked for as many jobs.
Now this is alleged, but a lot of people do go through this in one form or another. It's like you got the popular people that are linked in with the bosses and all of that, and they go in here, and if you don't go, everybody looking at it, oh, why you ain't go? Why you don't want to go hang out with us? And then now from there, you got stuff, stuff that people invited to or promotions or whatever. And now you all of a sudden don't become a part of that cloth because of a few steps you made that didn't agree with them,
You mentioned that there was some kind of a dispute over a retainer. When you parted company with Lizzo, when both of you parted company with Lizzo, was it just kind of happened? Were you terminated? Did you quit? How did the separation go?
Yeah, for me, my situation was a little bit different than Ari's. There was a meeting that Lizzo had. It was all of our meetings were pretty intense, but this one was a more intense meeting with her, just emphasizing the fact that she wasn't pleased with our performing and that we still weren't dancing up to, her standards. And basically this was after the intense re-audition that we went through after, having hours of rehearsal, to which she then brought up the allegations of us drinking before shows. I raised my hand to speak. She allowed me to speak. And in that moment, I let her know that, we never partook in those activities, and that we would never put ourselves, her, or the show or our jobs in jeopardy. And days later, one of her tour managers terminated me in a hotel lobby. What goes into my termination is that I had felt for a really long time that they were questioning my abilities due to weight gain. It was never explicitly said, hey, you're gaining weight. Your job is in jeopardy. It was never that. It was very nuanced. It was very under the rug. And I think that language was used to keep from being canceled. Previously, she had said, she was worried about me at South by Southwest. And when I was at South by Southwest, that was the first time I had showed up to a Lizzo event or gig, noticeably having gained weight. There was nothing different about me. My performance skills were the same. My demeanor was the same. My energy was the same. The only thing that was different about me was my weight. And in this meeting, she stated as well that, dancers get fired for gaining weight. She kind of paused and looked at me, and I still don't know if she really meant to single me out in that moment. But when she looked at me and she said that, I was kind of like, so she's really concerned about my weight. And then, when we had that private meeting, when I was kind of cornered, they kind of wouldn't let me, get away with not telling them something personal. So, and a reason why something was wrong with me. So I ended up telling them that I struggle with, anxiety and depression, and that I'm in recovery from an eating disorder. And as soon as I said eating disorder, they immediately were like, oh, like in their head, it was making sense as to why I was gaining weight, because it had something to do with an eating disorder problem.
So just going to say this, like, it's all alleged. Could be 100% false, could be 100% true. But I'm going to say something like this seems like I can see some truth in it. I can see them being like, oh, we trying to do something here with this, that, and other. You ain't taking this seriously. When somebody is noticeably bigger than what they was, right? And they might mix up the bag because they breathing a little harder, trying to do them moves. Got to do the oxygen machine. Lizzo might have a problem with that. Like, look, you messing up my show. Do the oxygen backstage. Do it. And so I could see this happening, but I can't see it happening if Lizzo operates in the way that she operates with all this body positivity and this, that, and the other, right? So you be careful and you say it in the certain ways that you can say it to get away with it. So I can see this, even though it's all alleged. We're going to see how it play out.
You guys remember what they were saying about her? This is something that could kind of substantiate those claims. On that Amsterdam trip, Lizzo did an interview on the radio speaking about going to this nasty bar.
And I saw that you saw a live sex show. Please tell me everything about the sex show.
It was people fucking, man. It was crazy. They were just doing it, but you know what? It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I went to the one show where it was like a couple, and they were like passionately making love.
But really passionate?
It was really, they kissed. They kissed after, I'm not going to say what she did. But I'm trying to go to the show where you eat the banana out the. Which one is that?
This is the banana bar.
That's the banana bar?
Yeah, you
and they have the banana in the coochie?
And ping pong balls.
And you have to go.
Yes. And
That's what I want to do.
Then you have to eat it.
I need my potassium, if you know what I'm saying. My potassium.
And see, this interview makes you realize, oh, this ain't as surprising as you thought it was. First, you thought it was like outlandish. Like, they in there biting bananas out of what? What they doing in there? No, they ain't did no type of thing like that. But then she do this interview, and it's like, oh, that's what they do there. And then you now realize it's a real thing. And then, you cut and be like, what address you say that is? I said, what term do you make? I'm trying to get over to the church of the house of God. Which way you go to get to the house of the church? Y'all get on my nerves recording so much. I don't like y'all. This is how you realize stuff get out of hand. You get a couple shots in Deacon Johnson and Shirley Quigley. They had to dance for Lizzo, and stuff started going left. Okay, Christians is freaky too. I don't know what y'all thought, but Deacon them be in that back room with them bananas trying to eat something out of them funky boxes of them chicks down there in Amsterdam. I'm just saying, it go down sometimes. Allegedly. Get out of that back room, Deacon. Get out of there. You ain't got no business back there. Get out of there. You ain't doing nothing, no work for the Lord back there. But this interview seems to give a little credence to the situation where it seems that this story ain't as plucked out of thin air as some of us might have thought it was. But if you know freaky people, you know this story ain't that far-fetched. But let me know what you think about it. What you don't think about it, get at your boy.